All right, now we want to do section 5.4 video, part 2. We're still talking about multiplying polynomials. But what I want to talk about is, I want to talk about some special products. And it turns out that there's two of them. Now, first of all, what do I mean? Let's see here. Okay. First of all, what do I mean by products? Well, the word product means multiply. So we're talking about multiplying. Now, what do we mean by special multiplying? You probably remember this when you were learning how to multiply. When you first learned how to multiply without a calculator, and you were in preschool or elementary school, and third, fourth grade, whatever, and you learned how to multiply numbers like this. $532 times 74. If I want to multiply this out without a calculator, there's no quick way to do it. I mean, you do 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12, 2, carry your 1, etc. And so there's no quick way to do that. But if I wanted you to multiply this one together, is there a special way to do this one? Yes. Now, can I do this one like I do this one right here? Sure I can. But this one's a special one. There's a quick way to do this one. If you remember, this is what we call counting the zeros. If you got a number followed by nothing but zeros, all you do is you multiply these two together, which is 35, and add your 3 zeros, counting your zeros. So this would be 35,000. So there's a quick way to do that. Well, what I want to do is I want to show you 2 quick ways to multiply 2 polynomials together. But I first of all have to show you, before I show you what the quick way is, I have to show you how to recognize it. Where when you see it, you say, oh, okay, this is the one where I can use a shortcut to. There's a special way to do this one. So you got to recognize it before you can use it. All right. So let me give you the names. Let me show you what they're called. There's 2 of them. So, okay, write this down right here. I know you can't get it all in right now, but I'll slide it over. But start copying this now. So 2 types of special products. And here's the first one right here. Slide this over. This is the first one. So write this down right here. The product of the sum and difference. So write that. And then there's the rest of it. Of a binomial. That's what these are called. The product of the sum and difference of a binomial. Now, that sounds really complicated. But, now, you need to remember the name if you're going to recognize it. But the name of it tells you what it's going to look like. Let me show you why. What does the word product mean? It means we're multiplying. What are we multiplying? Binomials. What kind of binomials? One's a sum and one's a difference. So you say, okay, I think I've got it. Here's what it's going to look like. It's going to be a binomial times a binomial. Yes. One's a plus, one's a minus. Yes. Now, can the plus be over here and the minus be over here? Yes. So with 2 binomials, one's got a plus in it, one's got a minus in it. But here's the key word, is this word right here, a binomial. In other words, what that means is the 2 binomials are exactly the same, except for the sign that's in the middle. So let me give you 3 visuals just to show you what they'll look like. Here's 3 examples of these. So when you see this, 3x plus 7 times 3x minus 7. 5m minus 4, 5m plus 4. 2a minus 11b, 2a plus 11b. Whenever you see a binomial times a binomial that looks like these, there is a special way to do these. Now, Mr. Rayner, we just did these by the FOIL method. Could we still do the FOIL method? Yes, you can. And you'll get the exact same answer. But there's just a different way or a quicker way to do it other than going through the whole FOIL method. All right, so here's what I want to do. I want to show you what the special way is. What is a quick way to do this other than by using the FOIL method? Well, before I do that, show you the special way, let's just do this one by the FOIL method. All right? So I'm fixing to show you the shortcut in just a second. So I'm going to take 3x plus 7 times 3x minus 7. Not going to use the shortcut yet. Let's do the FOIL method. 3x times 3x is 9x squared. Excuse me. 3x times negative 7 is negative 21x. 7 times 3x is plus 21x. And then a positive 7 times a negative 7 is a negative 49. Now, here's what makes it special. Look at these two terms here. They add out to 0. Negative 21x plus 21x. Now, did that happen in all the other problems we did a while ago with FOIL method? No. Will that always happen with these? Yes. If it's the same binomial, but one's a plus and one's a minus, that's going to happen every single time. So, here's the shortcut then. If you know the outer and inner is going to always add out to 0, why bother even doing it? So the shortcut is just to simply do this. The first one times the first one, and the last one times the last one. I don't have to do the middle two, the O and the I, on these because they're going to add out. Now, if you don't want to remember the shortcut and you want to do the FOIL method, have at it. That's fine. Doesn't matter. But that's the shortcut to these problems. So, let's use the shortcut then. First, recognize, okay, this is the product of the sum and difference. It's the same binomial twice, but one's a plus, one's a minus. So I can use the shortcut. So do the first times the first, which is 9x2, not 9x. And then the last times the last. And you say, well, is that answer always going to be a negative on these? Yes, because one of these will always be positive, one of these will always be negative, and a positive times a negative is always a negative. But having said every bit of that, if you want to use the FOIL method on those, it is perfectly fine. Because all I will ask you to do is I will say, multiply the following polynomials. Doesn't matter to me how you do it. So, and the computer certainly doesn't know. So, all right, so let's whip through a few of these right quick. Then I told you there's two special products. All right, so pause the video and write this one down. Okay, can I use the shortcut on this one? Yes, I can. So all I have to do is multiply the first one times the first one and the last one times the last one. Well, I get the same thing if I do the whole FOIL method. I've already said that 3 or 4 times. Yes, you will. Okay, so let's do this one. 6 minus 5x, 6 times 6 plus 5x. Now, they have to be in the same order, but one a plus, one a minus. Yes, I have a special way to do this one. How? First times the first, and then the last times the last. So 6 times 6, 36. Negative 5x times a plus 5x is negative 25x squared. All right, next one. 8 plus x times 8 minus x. Yes, there's a special way to do that one. First times the first and the last times the last. And this next one, pause the video when you need to. This next one, can I use the shortcut on it? Yes, I can. First times the first, 6x2 times 6x2 is 36x4. And then negative 3y times plus 3y is negative 9y2, or negative 9y squared. Now remember, if it's not a special one, like this one you'd have to go through the whole FOIL method. 5x plus 7, 5x minus 6. So you can't use the short, so you're going to do this one times this one, this one times this one, this one times this one, this one times that one. Now, we've already discussed that, so I'll put that up for you, just so you can copy that. So pause the video and finish copying that problem. Okay, so we've talked about distributive properties, we've talked about FOIL methods, and we've talked about one special problem where you can use a shortcut if you choose to. What was it called? The product of the sum and difference of a binomial. So it's the same binomial twice, multiplying, but one's a plus and one's a minus. All right, and then I talked about how to do it. First times the first and the last times the last. Okay, let's talk about the second special one now. I will give you the name of it. I'll do it very similar to what I did with this other one. I'm going to give you the name of it. I'll show you what it looks like. And then after I show you what it looks like, I'll then show you the shortcut to it. All right, here's the second one. Write this down. Squaring a binomial. Squaring a binomial. Now, let me show you what this one will look like. It's going to be a binomial. What is a binomial? Two terms. So it's going to be a binomial squared. For instance, x plus 5 squared. Now, it can either be written this way or this way. Both of these are mathematically the same. Now, when we're squaring a binomial, can I write it out twice and do the FOIL method? Yes, you can. But I'm going to show you how to do this without using the FOIL method. But if you choose to use the FOIL method, that's fine. So if it's written this way, one option is to write it twice and do the FOIL method. Now, let me show you a different way if you want to use this. Before I show you the different way, let me tell you first of all what this is not, because I cannot tell you how many times I've seen students do this. X plus 5 squared is not x squared plus 25. Now, I get that that looks right. You say, Mr. Ryan, all you're doing is squaring this one and squaring that one. Let me go back and remind you of something that you may have forgotten. In section 5.2, we discussed the power rule for exponents. And that power rule is when you had parentheses and you had an exponent outside parentheses, kind of like this, an exponent outside parentheses. But I told you, you can only apply that power to each individual thing in that parentheses only if you're multiplying and dividing. And I told you, I said, this is important. I said, because we will discuss this later on. So I said, if you're adding and subtracting in here, you can apply that outside power to each term. So right here, if you just square this and square that, you're not going to get x squared. I mean, the answer is not x squared plus 25. Now, here's what I want to do. I want to show you why it's not x squared plus 25. What does it mean to square something? Doesn't that mean say it times itself, right? Okay, so what I want to do is I want to multiply this out and show you you don't get x squared plus 25. All right? Just look at this right here. Right quick. If you take x plus 5 squared, you write it out twice and do the FOIL method. X squared plus 5x plus another 5x plus 25. Then that's x squared. 5x plus 5x is 10x plus 25. So see, when you square this, now this is the right answer. You can't get to this answer by just squaring that and squaring that. So, one of the things that I want to tell you right now, you'll hear me say this a lot, is right here. When you square a binomial, you always get a trinomial. When you square a bi, you get a tri. So every one of these problems, you should be getting 3 answers. So let me show you what they're going to look like first. Now, I haven't showed you the shortcut yet. Squaring a binomial. A binomial times itself. Squaring a binomial. Squaring a binomial. Squaring a binomial. Every one of these is squaring binomials. So when I do every one of these, I should get 3 terms for my answer, not 2 terms. All right. Before I show you the shortcut, let me say it one more time. What is one way to do this? Write it out twice, 3x plus 4, 3x plus 4, and do the FOIL method. That's one way. But there's a way to do it without writing it out twice and using the FOIL method. So what's the shortcut? Well, let me show you this one right here. We just did this one by the FOIL method. Now, let me show you how to do it without the FOIL method. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Let's write this down. X plus 5 squared. Now, I'm going to do it right up under here. So we're cheating because we're looking at the answer right there. So what I'm about to show you is how do you go from here to here without the FOIL method? Well, what did I just say? When you square a bi, you get a what? Tri. So I know that my answer is going to have 3 terms in it. So here's a way to do it. Square the first term. So x times x is x squared. Square the last term. That's plus 25. But remember we said it has a middle term. Now let me show you a way to do this. In your head, just multiply these 2 together. So what is x times 5? 5x. But if you remember, we had 2 of those. So if you double 5x, that means say it times 2. If you double 5x, what do you get? 10x. And you say, well, my goodness, Mr. Ronnie, that's really not shorter. I'd just soon write it out twice and do the FOIL method. That's fine. It will become quicker if you practice it. So let's just practice a few of these, and then if you don't like the shortcut and you want to write it out twice and do the FOIL method, that's okay. But just try a few with me and let's see if we can do the shortcut. So, all right. So let's do some of these together. So let's do x plus 8 squared. Okay, when I square a binomial, I get a trinomial. So square the first term, x times x is x squared. Square the last term, 8 times 8 is plus 64. Now, how do you get the middle number? In your head, multiply these 2 together. X times 8 is 8x, and when you double 8, you get 16x. Say again, if you opted to do this and do the FOIL method, you'll get the exact same answer. All right, let's do another one. All right, so we're squaring a binomial. When you square a bi, you get a tri. All right, square the first term. X times x is x squared. Square the last term. Negative 7 times negative 7 is plus 49. Yes, on these, that will always be plus. Now, how do you get the middle number? Multiply these 2 together. X times negative 7 is negative 7x. And when you double the negative 7, you say it times 2, you get negative 14x. And when you double it, it doubles the number, but it doesn't change the letter. All right, let's do 3 more. So let's do 2x plus 3 using the shortcut. And then if you decide you want to do the FOIL method, that's okay. All right, so we've got 2x plus 3 quantity squared. 3 blanks. Square a bi, you get a tri. So square 2x. 2x times 2x is not 4x. It's 4x squared. 3 times 3 is plus 9, always plus. Now multiply these two together, which is 2x times 3 is 6x, and when you double 6, you get 12x. And by the way, I meant to say this up here in this last problem. This sign right here is going to always be whatever sign that is right there. All right, two more. 5x minus 4 quantity squared. Square a by, you get a try. So square 5x. 5x times 5x is 25x squared. Square negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 4 is a plus 16. Now multiply these together. 5x times negative 4 is negative 20x. And when you double negative 20, you get negative 40x. Okay, last one. 3x minus 5y squared. I square a by, I get a try. Square 3x. 3x times 3x is 9x squared. Square 5y. Negative 5y times negative 5y is plus 25y squared, adding exponents. Now, multiply these two together. 3x times negative 5y is negative 15xy. But you have to double that, so that's going to take that to negative 30. Negative 30. But still, xy. Okay, that concludes section 5.4 video, part 2, and that concludes all of section 5.4.